time. Makes me sick to my stomach that he'd be such a fool. Her next arrow flew off course. She needed to work harder on her concentration. Tell me more about the rebels who plan to stand up against the king. Why do you want to know? Do you want to be one of the few girls to join their ranks? Maybe I do. Come, little Liz. Gregor laughed and grabbed her wrist. There have to be a few rabbits we can find to practice your aim on next. Why waste arrows on trees and breath on silly words? Don't worry about the rebels. If anyone will soon be joining them in their fight against the king, it'll be me. Not silly, she mumbled. But he did have a point, at least when it came to their target practice. The trees were scarce here anyway. Most of the area was brown and dry, with a few small greener areas in which her mother and other women tended vegetable gardens that, each year, yielded fewer and fewer vegetables, but many tears. Her mother had not stopped crying since she had heard of Basilius's death. It wrenched Lysandra's heart to see her mother so upset, so inconsolable, but she tried to reason with her. I believe we make our own destinies, every last one of us, she told her mother last night. Who leads us makes no difference. This was met with a sad, weary look of patience. You're so naive, daughter. I pray it won't lead you astray. And now her mother prayed to the dead chief about her rule-breaking daughter. This wasn't unexpected. Lysandra had always caused her mother grief by not being an acceptable daughter who did acceptable things. Lysandra was accustomed to not fitting in with her friends, who couldn't understand her fascination with making arrows until she got blisters on her fingers, or staying outside until her nose burned so red it practically glowed in the dark. Gregor put his arm out to halt Lysandra's steps. What? She asked. Look. They were less than a mile from the village. Before them was a small clearing, barren of any vegetation at all. It was surrounded by dry bushes and leafless trees. An old woman, one Lysandra recognized as Talia, the eldest in their village, stood in the middle of the clearing. The carcass of a red fox lay in front of her. The woman had drained the blood from the animal into a wooden cup. With this blood, she drew symbols on the parched, cracked earth with the tip of her finger. Lysandra had never seen anything like it in her life. What's Talia doing? What's she drawing? 4 symbols, Gregor said, his voice hushed. Do you know what they are? No, what? The symbols are of the elements. Fire, air, water, and earth. He pointed to each in turn. A triangle, a spiral, 2 stacked wavy lines, and a circle within a circle. His throat worked as he swallowed hard. I had no idea. Our village elder. She's a witch. An oldling. Wait, you're saying that old simple-minded Talia's a witch? She waited for him to start grinning and tell her he was just joking. But he was serious. Deadly serious. Gregor's brows drew together. I had my suspicions, but this is the proof. She's kept her secret well over all the years. You know what can happen to witches. In the neighboring kingdom of Limeros, they were burned, hanged, beheaded. Witches were considered evil even here in Paelsia. Bad luck. A curse upon this land, making it wither away and die. In Limeros, many believed that witches were what had cursed that land to turn to ice. Lysandra remembered Talia's unusual reaction when she'd learned the chief had been murdered by King Gaius. She'd nodded once, grimly, brushed off her dusty skirts, and said 4 words. And so it begins. Everyone thought the old woman was mad, so they paid no attention to her ramblings. But for some reason those words had resonated with Lysandra and sent a chill down her spine. So what begins? She'd caught the old woman's arm. What do you mean? Talia had turned her pale, watery eyes on Lysandra.